Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers, coming to you from Carson City. On the program today, a great panel with Fred Lokken, Cheryl Blomstrom, and Russell Rowe. It's all coming up next on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Carson Valley Inn, it's your place for the good times. Carson Valley Inn.
For 50 years, Nevada Heating has been keeping people comfortable in their homes. At Nevada Heating, call the Do It Right guys and get the air conditioning back on today. That's the Nevada Heating way. Why sweat for days on end when Nevada Heating can get your air conditioning fixed today? Call us today and we'll fix it today at 323-5585 or schedule us on our website at nevadaheating.com.
What do you count on? You count on your power every day. At NV Energy, we've always powered what's important to you, but we're not looking at the past. We're focused on the future. While our standards are high, our rates will remain low. And our commitment to renewables isn't just meeting standards, but leading the way. Because you can count on more than just your power. You can count on the company who brings it to you. That's our promise. You can count on it.
When in Carson City, Nevada Newsmakers records in the conference room at the Bank Saloon. Coverage of the 2023 legislative session is brought to you by Liberty Dental Plan, making members shine one smile at a time. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you. The Regional Transportation Commission of Washoe County, your RTC, our community. NV Energy, proudly serving Nevada, providing electricity to 2.4 million electric customers. And by Nevada Builders Alliance, building a better Nevada.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, coming to you from Carson City. We have a great Power Pundit panel today. Russell Rowe is here. He's the managing principal with the Rowe Law Group. Cheryl Blomstrom is the political consultant, and Fred Lokken, professor of political science at Truckee Meadows Community College. Well, I've got to start out with you, Russell, first, because we've got to talk about the A's. And quite interesting, the little move there. Now they're going to be at Tropicana. They were going to be at the Wild West. I'm sure the Fertitta family is not thrilled about that little game, but what are your thoughts on the relocation? And of course, it's all dependent on what happens at the legislature.
Yeah, of course. For the location, I mean, obviously you can't do better than Trop in Las Vegas Boulevard, right? It is interesting that we would be subsidizing potentially the removal of a resort hotel.
Right.
For a stadium, but I understand the developers, the owners would still have the rights. Those gaming entitlements would remain on the property outside of the stadium and have the ability to redevelop that site, which if that happens, that would be tremendous, right? You could have a new resort hotel and a stadium right at that corner. Fantastic.
Well, and that's always been the fourth corner that wasn't as developed as the other three, at one of the most exciting intersections in the world.
Right, potentially, and I understand there'd potentially be some significant traffic implications while that stadium's constructed. There's been conversations in that regard of how Tropicana is going to be managed, over that period of time. But all of the players in that vicinity, obviously one company owns, as you indicated, 3 of those corners, makes it a lot easier to work through those issues.
Of course, for folks in Southern Nevada, they are very familiar with the phrase Tropicana, which has been the removal of the Tropicana bridges. But what are your thoughts on the way that this thing will be funded, and after what everybody went through with Allegiant Stadium, what's the thought up here at the legislature?
I have actually not hunted that dog.
Okay.
Then
what are your thoughts on that kind of
thing?
thing?
I think it's really interesting. I'm a baseball fanatic, so for me, it's a good thing to have something a little closer and in our state. The idea of subsidizing a demolishment is interesting, but also, as Russ said, the maintaining of the gaming ability, and then there's also room in that property to develop a whole new hotel casino sort of behind where the stadium is. I think it's going to be a good thing for Las Vegas.
I couldn't agree with you more. One of the interesting things that has come up, Fred, is discussion, though, of should it be the A's or should we be looking at an expansion team? Because the A's notoriously not such a great team.
Well, I dare say it's been a team in significant decline. My entire Christmas card collection is of family photos at an Oakland A's game. So I've been following this team for a very long period of time.
Do you have some Kleenex, Dave?
Thank you, yes.
And a violin.
That's dedication.
On the other hand, it has reflected the decline of sports in Oakland. And I think that the family and the excitement, 400,000, actually getting fans into the stadium, which is what the A's have not had, is going to energize the team. And I think it can be a very exciting situation for Las Vegas. And of course, they're still talking about NBA basketball coming into the arena with LeBron James. And so that it's just making this town a fabulous sports town. They are, I think, talking about $1 billion casino on that corner with that stadium as well. So that would be a good addition.
Yeah, to say the least. But we lost soccer.
Yeah, I just read that this morning. I haven't been hunting that dog either, but a little bit disappointing. I mean, I think Major League Soccer would probably do a little better in Las Vegas than 81 Major League Baseball games. But you know that sport is growing, and Las Vegas has always been in the top 5, and now if this franchise goes to San Diego, then I would think Las Vegas will be at the top of the list for the next franchise. So definitely the story isn't finished on that one.
Yeah, and don't you think that it's kind of weird that they're not looking at the number of fans showing up at Allegiant Stadium for these big soccer games? I mean, 65,000 people showing up.
That's right. It's completely sold out, and there are more matches coming up in June and later this summer, and they'll be sold out as well. So it's just a matter of time for Major League Soccer.
Yes.
Soccer is too new in the United States.
Oh, come on.
I'm sorry,
Hello,
Sam.
Pele, when I was a child.
It's England. It's perceptually at least new in the United States, and it's not a thing that we as Americans have figured out that we can like. It's a complicated game. I really enjoy soccer also, but it's because I have a child who played soccer, so we grew up as a soccer family.
You know, Bo Bernhardt, I think, watches this show occasionally, and he's the ultimate soccer fan. Is he crying right now at what Cheryl's saying? Maybe we should get a women's team, because they are fabulous, and everybody loves them. Yes, I'm not disagreeing.
100%.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, well, let's turn our attention to education funding. That's got to come out first. Where do you feel we are at this point in time?
Well, there is some room for compromise. I think they both want to take credit for the $2 billion in additional spending. That can work.
2.250.
There you go. But there are some storm clouds on that whole process in terms of being able to send money to non-public schools, a lot of it. And so I'm worried about their ability to find a compromise. In fact, I've heard some rumors suggesting this may all wind up in special session and on purpose. And so I'm very curious to see how the last few weeks go.
Your thoughts on a potential special session?
Yeah, I think it's more than rumors. As I understand,
Okay.
all members have been told to make plans. And I think it does revolve around the education budget. All of the other major issues, including things like the A's or the film tax credits, will likely get resolved before end of session. But the budget is the one, and education in particular is the one that could put them into special session. Is it absolutely going to happen? No, it can all be salvaged, I think. But there's definitely two sides staring at each other, waiting for the other to blink right now.
Politically, this would not be a good thing, I'm presuming, for the governor.
It depends. After the special session, after the legislators go home, then he is the sole occupant of the bully pulpit. And as I understand, has put together a team of messaging specialists. He can message this to his own benefit. And he's a very well-spoken man, very plain-spoken, but also understands exactly what he said he was going to do, has said about doing it with or without the legislators, and he is, I think, going to be large and in charge in a special session as well.
Ben Kekeffer, as Chief of Staff, seems to be doing an extraordinary good job on behalf of the governor, from all I'm told.
Well, it helps to have that experience because certainly Governor Lombardo, his political track is not political. He, certainly in law enforcement, it's a very unique role in a county, especially the size of Clark, but it doesn't give you comprehensive exposure to the operations and machinations of government. And so bringing the experience of Ben Kekeffer into his office was a brilliant move. Some are struggling with who really is making most of the decisions in that governor's office, I think, because Ben's experience is so valued and his understanding of Carson City is so deep that I think he's the go-to person more so than going immediately to the governor.
You agree?
Oh, 100%. Bringing on Ben was brilliant. I think we've had a generally smooth session in large part, I think, is because of Ben's leadership in the governor's office and his ability to work with leadership in the legislature. But look at that entire team as well. I mean, they've got really great people. Jim Wells has a wealth of experience. Michon is legislative director. They're all very talented folks in that office who know how to work these issues. And Ben is the type of guy that can bring a session to closure.
Higher ed. They have needs, but invariably it's the last thing that gets dealt with.
Yes and no. I mean, I think our K-12 education.
Well, isn't it the money that's left over after K through 12 is done?
But there's a lot of money left over.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of money left over. And they always come with a giant wish list. They have facilities and they have programs and they have not one-shot things. They have things that will continue into perpetuity, perhaps. And so I don't think they're going to suffer.
Well, and look at the two players. You've got Dale Urquiaga, and then you have Brian Sandoval. This is a system that is more informed and is, I think, atoning for previous sins and being, I think, far more direct and accountable to this legislature and this governor. And I think that could pay some dividends for them.
You were busting there to say something.
Well, yeah, and in full
which
disclosure,
is rare, by the way.
Full disclosure, I represent two of the institutions in higher education and have been involved in representing either the institutions or NSHE for about a decade now. And I think the bigger picture is Nevada has never really paid attention to higher education, and we've paid the price for that in how we pursue economic development. Abatements are wonderful and a key part of that. But higher education is really the linchpin to diversifying your economy. And until Nevada becomes more serious about higher ed, we've always focused on K through 12, which is important. It's the first thing that should be focused on. But Maggie Carlton's comment of kindergartners are cuter than college kids. We need to get a little bit past that now and really begin to focus on how we advance higher education, invest in those resources, understanding that those investments are what are going to pay dividends for Nevada in the long term.
Is Blackfire an important part of that? Because that's been an extraordinary organization.
It's been an extraordinary organization, and it is a key part of it. Both the research institutions at UNLV and UNR, and of course DRI as well, are really critical. The community college, TMCC, and the work they do, what they've been doing with Tesla and building out workforce development programs, all of that is significantly important to how we advance as a state. And when you start talking budgets and numbers, we have to elevate the conversation, I think, in Nevada, and particularly among the legislature of what higher education's role is in Nevada, and begin to make it just as important as K through 12.
Is it making a difference in this session that Dale Urquiaga has made it very clear he is not going to continue on? When he's done in this year, he's going to be gone and retired.
Dale has so many political skills and it's a myriad of talent. And I think he would be doing well regardless. I'm not sure that his retirement, although it makes me sad because I think he's a fabulous man and it's fun to be around him. But I'm not sure that drives the equation as much as his talent.
I'm not going to disagree on anything you're saying about his talent because I have huge respect for Dale. But from a negotiating point of view, it would be amazing if all politicians were limited to one term, because then they could really see what they thought. Your thoughts on this, Fred?
And I think that has been his style. It is both, he's always emphasized that he has a shelf life, and he's making the most of it, but he can be, I think, very direct and honest. And as I say, that has changed the tone from previous sessions for us. I think we're also recognizing that as the economy of the state is now so rapidly changing, that value of higher education, of making that happen for our own residents. Here in Northern Nevada, we have to see so many people brought from outside the state because our workforce is not prepared for these types of jobs. Our educational system didn't necessarily let them down. They didn't know those jobs were going to be here. But it has to be a team effort now from K through all the postdoctoral work to really position Nevada, and someone like Dale is helping us set the stage. I think this is going to be looked at as a better session for higher education.
Okay, so the city with no name, Ivanpah, where the new airport is going to be, which is the worst kept secret, and I don't even know why it's been a secret, but is this not the opportunity for economic development in Southern Nevada and diversification because of all the things that will come up around that airport?
Without a doubt, I think you hit the nail on the head in that regard, Sam. Harry Reid International Airport is beginning to experience some of the strains of congestion at that airport, and part of that is because of one of the runways has been under construction and is causing delays. But that experience, I think, is really motivating folks because they're seeing what happens when so many airlines are delayed coming into the valley. So Ivanpah is going to be a key piece of that. It's going to allow expansion of the resort industry, but also allow diversification of the economy. And that whole area is south of Las Vegas, all the way to through Jean and Prim. What Toll's family are doing in Jean, Nevada is going to be critically important. There's a real opportunity for Southern Nevada to make something of that diversifies their economy, and we hope that that's what's going to happen over the next 20 years.
From what Russell is saying, it's like Ivanpah is the TRI potentially for Southern Nevada, not Apex. I mean, Apex will be a part of it, but...
I was just going to point that out, that what TRI did really benefited Northern Nevada through a slowdown and the pandemic and the stuff that really smacked around our resort industry. TRI didn't have that problem. They produced and were consistently working. And I think Southern Nevada has a tremendous opportunity. I welcome what they're doing down there because our state has so much to offer.
Fred?
Fully agree, and I think they have another challenge to deal with, which would be now the insane traffic on I-15, which always has insane. But they have the hyperlink coming up from LA now. Maybe they can do something that's very space-agey and 21st century and just adds to the whole value of visiting Las Vegas by getting them from the airport to downtown in like 2 minutes or something. We'll see.
Okay, hyperlink. You're referring to a technology that has not been brought up in quite a while. I mean, the high-speed train, is that what you're referring to?
Yeah,
Bright,
I think they're going to be
Bright
going.
Line.
Yep.
And they're looking to put a stop at Ivanpah before they've already gotten approval, everything else. But that was part of the original plan, was to have light rail. Let's take a break. We'll come back with this terrific panel right after this time out.
Remember 2010 in Northern Nevada, 13 to 14% unemployment, thousands of homes in foreclosure, Nevada's casinos closing? Families in the Reno-Sparks area were hurting. Many were losing everything. Then Story County launched a game changer for our region, a public-private industrial partnership, streamlined permitting, slashed bureaucracy, attracting Fortune 500 companies that made Nevada their home. Story County generated a river of cash to area communities. Economic studies by the state and others for the Gigafactory consistently show positive economic benefits for our region. $4 billion in local wages, $17 billion in consumer spending and economic activity, over $100 million in taxes to Washoe, Story, Reno, Sparks, and Nevada, just for the Gigafactory alone. Story County, improving Northern Nevada one industry at a time.
Safety is the #1 priority for the trucking industry. Over $7 billion a year is spent on technology like this electronic eye that will apply the brakes automatically. But the most important factor for safety is the truck driver. These hardworking men and women who safely move over 70% of our nation's freight and 94% of Nevada's. We thank you because trucks move America forward.
It's the Lucky Lexus Cash and Free Play giveaways at Tamarack. Weekly cash and free play winners plus a $20,000 cash winner guarantee. And drive home a brand new Lexus NX30 or walk away with $42,500 in cash. It's a good time to win at Tamarack Casino.
Save money and take transit. Did you know you can ride the bus all day for less than what it would cost you for a gallon of gas? Plan your trip now by going to rtcwashoe.com.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with this great panel. Fred Lokken is here, Cheryl Blomstrom, and Russell Rowe. Russell, you're a man who has certainly dealt with tax credits over the years, one of the people responsible for the Tesla deal. Now we have Sony. Because we've been trying to get the film industry to do stuff here. I look at all the TV shows with Georgia on the back end and think that Tyler Perry continues to make billions of dollars. Is this real for Nevada to make the kind of money we need to make by these tax benefits?
Yeah, potentially. I mean, and another disclosure, I represent UNLV, which has an interest in on the Bircher side of the two studios, which would be located at the Harry Reid Research and Tech Park on the UNLV campus. But no, I mean, the presentation made yesterday was impressive, and I think they're correct. I think the studios do want to come to Las Vegas. There's tremendous amount of synergies between LA and Las Vegas, and the industry and the ability to film in Nevada and in a cost-effective manner. I do think there are questions around the tax credit mechanism, the mobility of the industry, and how it's moved around the country over the years, and whether it'll be in Las Vegas for 20 or 30 years and then go to the next stop. So I think there's going to be more conversations in that regard, and there's amendments coming to address some of that. But it is very real, and the synergies with Las Vegas and that industry are obvious, and Nevada as a state.
All right, let's take another break and we'll come right back.
As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
Located in the heart of Carson City, the Bank Saloon is a historic watering hole with a modern feel. With a variety of classic cocktails featuring Nevada spirits, space for private events, conferences, and an incredible atmosphere, the Bank Saloon offers a great location to work and play. Come visit us. Located at the corner of 5th and Carson, we'll save you a drink.
Pro Group Management offers workers' comp services to a growing number of industries. As businesses grow and change with the times, the need for a solid workers' comp program must be flexible and up to date. The evolving nature of regulations can make staying ahead of complex tasks challenging. But Pro Group Management simplifies the work so your industry can move forward and succeed. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
Like a traditional handmade basket, retail is woven into the fabric of life in Nevada. From big box to mom and pop, retail supports our communities in countless ways. Jobs for the disabled, team uniforms for kids, help for the elderly, and so much more. Retail employs over 1 in 10 workers. Retail supports Nevada, and we support retail.
RANNV.org.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers with our great panel here with Cheryl Blomstrom, Russell Rowe, and Fred Lokken. Cheryl, your thoughts on these tax credits, and from what Russell was saying in the last segment, don't you just put in clawbacks that they can't just go out after a couple of years?
Based on what I heard, they have to be audited before they get the benefits. So the product is finished and audited, and then they get the tax credit, which is a different sort of incentivizing. But as to incentives in general, the return on investment for incentives is amazingly high. It is a good deal for the state of Nevada.
I have never understood, Fred, why so many legislators over the years have fought, the difference between empty ground that's producing nothing and ground with something on it that's employing people, and not necessarily one kind of tax, but all other kinds of taxes. Just a quick response.
No, I fully agree. We're a rather convoluted state. We're still stuck in adolescence with only 100,000 people in the state as late as 1940. And so in a part-time legislature that just struggles to get the job done. So we have great inconsistencies with the way that we raise our money in this state, how we collect money, and it needs to change. It's bad thinking.
And that's where we have to leave it. Thank you all so much for being here, because I know you all got to rush off to the legislature because you all got things to do. And we'll be right back.
The Nevada Builders Alliance has been protecting the interests of the construction industry for over 50 years. Our programs save members thousands of dollars every year and allow them to provide much-needed benefits to their employees. Our industry also allows Nevada to grow. If you're thinking about a career in the construction industry, reach out. And if you haven't thought of a career in construction, what are you waiting for? We are the Nevada Builders Alliance.
Imagine a magical garden that feeds Carson City's hungry and homeless, teaches our high school students agriculture, creates hanging floral displays to beautify downtown, and yet charges nothing. It's not magic. It's the Greenhouse Project. It's real, it's growing, and it needs your help. Go online to carsоncitygreenhouse.org so together we can grow it forward.
Carson Valley Inn, it's your place for the good times. Carson Valley Inn.
When in Carson City, Nevada Newsmakers records in the conference room at the Bank Saloon. Coverage of the 2023 legislative session is brought to you by Liberty Dental Plan, making members shine one smile at a time. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you. The Regional Transportation Commission of Washoe County, your RTC, our community. NV Energy, proudly serving Nevada, providing electricity to 2.4 million electric customers. And by Nevada Builders Alliance, building a better Nevada.
Thanks to the Bank Saloon in Carson City and the Builders Alliance for their help with our coverage of the 2023 legislative session. We'll see you on the next broadcast.